Hello, my name is James Alexander-Sinclair, and sitting over there is...
Moi, Joe Swift.
Ah, c'est le français, Joe
oui,
Swift.
Bonjour, ça va?
This is the James and Joe Garden Show, coming to you every Tuesday from wherever you get your podcasts. If you want more of this, if you want ad-free listening, if you want a little bit of extra, then you can go and join Scribehound, and you will find 30 different writers producing the most extraordinary stuff. And the link to that is in the show notes. The other thing we'd love you to do is if you want to leave us a review anywhere, that would be kind. If you want to leave us a comment at the bottom on wherever you get your podcast.
Well, only nice stuff, though.
Only nice stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. We only accept nice stuff. What happens is that we talk about a subject, and today we're going to be talking about, is gardening sexy? Well, is it, Joe?
Well, I'm too sexy for my garden.
Well, hey, I'm too sexy for my fork.
Is it? Are we talking about sexy gardening?
We're talking about sexy gardening today, and then we'll do that for a while, and then what will happen after that is that we'll get to what I think is probably our favourite bit of this podcast, is when you, the loving listener out there, have sent us some of your sexy questions so that we can give them sexy answers. Just bear in mind the fact that the sexy part of the James and Joe Garden Show is just for this week only. And next week, we'll go back.
And it's all because you said this podcast will make you a sexy gardener. That's what a sexier gardener.
Yeah, I did.
You put that pronouncement out there, and so now it's coming back to bite you on the bottom, which is where some of it starts.
This question we thought was so monumental that it deserved a bit more of a wider chat. So
I genuinely don't know what this is.
Okay, well, wait and see. I'm just about to tell you. This is from Barbara, who lives on Vancouver Island, where we have been.
We have. You're going to do your Vancouver.
No, I'm not going to do my Vancouver because I just couldn't do that. I'm not.
Well, it's really hard Canadian because
Exactly.
you're going to sound American, and then you're going to upset the Canadians, and you're going to upset the Americans as well.
Yes, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to stay in my
Just be
my
James.
BBC
Just be yourself.
newsreader voice. Hello, Barbara, Vancouver Island.
It's not 1950.
So Barbara from Vancouver Island was I was just listening to your ad for Scribehound, in which you claimed that listening to the podcast would make you a sexier gardener. I did say that, I think, at some point.
Did we not have a disclaimer underneath?
Yes, yeah, we missed that one.
Yeah.
So, what, in your opinion, Joe, is a sexy gardener?
Well, don't throw it over to me. You're the one who said it.
Well, it's here, okay, but she's also she's so slightly directing us here. There's a little note at the bottom here says it would be much more interesting if you disagreed on this subject. So she's looking for a bit of controversy. She's looking for a bit of jeopardy.
Well,
she's looking a bit of whatever.
You have to go for the pro-sexy gardener because you're the one who actually said it, and it's unscripted, this program, obviously, that we're making it up as we go along. And you said it will make you a sexier gardener.
Yes, I think
so.
It probably
You have
will.
to take that line, but I don't want to take the line that's going to make you an unsexier gardener.
Well,
but I have to.
We'll have to see how it. We'll have to see how it.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot. You have to you have to stand up to your claim that this podcast, because I think there are advertising and marketing rules actually around this. There's probably paperwork coming in as we speak. That this podcast will make you a sexier gardener.
Yes,
I
think it probably will, and the reason for that is because what will happen from this podcast is that you will have a jolly time. You will be you have a lighter feeling by the time you finish listening to this. You may even have learnt something. And everybody knows that the one things that makes you sexier and more attractive is intelligence, basically. So if you know something else, then that will instantly make you more alluring. Do you think that works? That follows?
Well, I like the way you're going. I can see the thought process. Also, the humor. People find humor very attractive.
They do. A sort of a light giggle goes a long way, in my experience. So what we have to do is we have to try and keep this podcast. In this podcast, okay, the purpose of this podcast is mostly to entertain people, isn't it, really? And then a little bit of sideways education slips in there at the same time. And I think that if you are...
And thirdly, to make them sexier gardeners.
Well, no, because I think that the sum of point A and point B equals point C, which is what makes them a sexier gardener.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
fine.
do you think I got away with that one?
Yeah, I
more or
think
less?
the rationale.
that sort
I
of works.
followed it word for word. I'm with you.
I think that a lot of this is because, okay, one of the things that we as gardeners have to understand and have to realize is that plants really don't give a damn about us. And so all that care that we give, all that watering, all that pruning, all that tidying, all that deadheading, all that propagating, all that feeding, all that stroking,
Well, they might
all
enjoy
of those things,
the propagation bit because we're actually reproducing them.
precisely, because the only reason that they flower is not to make us happy. The only reason they flower is like a flirtatious twerk in order to attract a pollinating insect, because the only thing that plants are interested in really is sex. Do you think that's a valid point?
I think it's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Reproduction.
So gardening is sexy.
Sex and reproduction, but it's not just plants. I mean, it's animals and it's every living thing.
I know, but what we're talking about here is gardening sexy, not is animal husbandry sexy. So it's gardening sexy. So yes, gardening, because the whole idea of growing plants, growing fruits, growing all that sort of thing is to enable them to not replicate themselves. What's the word?
Reproduce.
Reproduce. And so yes, it is about sexiness. And I think that the association of gardeners who are there helping this process along, we're sort of aiding the process. That makes it quite a sort of.
Oh, you sound a bit pimpy. Sounds a bit like a pimp, though.
I know, this is
you're the way you were doing that. Like we're helping everything to have sex in our gardens all the time, and to reproduce in our garden. We're creating the environment in our gardens, and it is a beautiful environment.
Yeah.
That's the idea for this sex to occur. I don't think that's what the question really means. It's not just about the plants having sex. You said make you a sexier gardener.
Yes, no, I've answered that one. I've done that one already with the
but
humour.
I've also been asked to disagree with you, which is what I'm going to do.
Well, you don't say, you have to come up with a theory. You can't just say, well, that's wrong.
Well, we're not just talking about the plants, are we? Having sex. We know that's what they do. They have sex, and when you see pollen in your garden and you see plants reproducing and fruit forming and everything, it's all going on out there.
Yeah, it is.
Love.
It's
death.
filth.
So
Filth,
do they love it? Do the plants love each other? Do they
I think that the plants, interestingly, a
they
number
do
of
talk
plants,
to each other.
but they have a cross-species love going on here.
That's true.
Because they're not just loving each other, they're also loving
It's
the
diversity.
hoverflies.
It's called diversity as well.
Yeah.
Cross-pollination.
Cross-pollination.
It makes it healthy.
And it's one thing goes to another, and then the insects are also having sex a lot of the time. And the whole place is a fermenting tureen of degeneracy. Is one way you could look at it.
That's another way to look at the garden.
It is, but actually, it's lovely and it's nice. And a successful garden is actually full of sex, and that makes it a sexy place to be.
It really is. You don't want a sterile environment. So that's going on. But then we're talking about the gardener who is creating, the garden maker who's creating this space.
Yeah.
Is it a case of the more sex that's going on in the garden means that the gardener is more sexy as a result? Are they feeding off that, or are they creating it? Do you think there's any relationship between those two things?
No, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. I think that just because you're a gardener,
I'm not sure, because I think that a really good gardener has these layers of interest and plants and pollination, cross-pollination, propagation, and reproduction, and all the things we've been talking about. Okay, we'll call it sex, which means it's a richer, more diverse, more interesting garden, which has been made by somebody, by the garden maker. And maybe the garden maker understands that depth of need from the plants, from the garden.
Yeah.
And maybe if they understand that they understand other things.
They understand. Do you
too,
think,
outside of it, which makes them sexy.
Do you think that being a gardener makes you Barry White?
Well, are there Barry Whites of the gardening world?
Yes, I'm sure that there are. So who are they? Who is the most Barry White gardener that we can think of? I mean,
we've got to keep ourselves out of it. We've got to keep ourselves out of this one, James.
Why do we have to do that?
Well, we've got to keep, because we can't talk about ourselves in these terms.
What was the band? What was the song where it started off by saying, "Hi, I'm Larry, I'm Sagittarius. Do you remember that? Was it the Stylistics, or was it somebody like that? There were like
Barry White.
There were 4 guys in a row wearing matching, really horrible suits, maybe in yellow, and it was. Hi, my name is
Larry.
However it went. Anyway,
hello, my name is Joe.
I'm sure that
I'm a Gemini.
Yeah, you see, somebody will tell us the answer to that question. But I think it might have been the Stylistics. Anyway, that's the sort of vibe that we're looking at in our garden. So it's that sort of Barry White gardening thing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
okay, so we're going to go through. We're going to go through gardeners that we know and who are sexy. Well, some people find Monty Don incredibly sexy. I went to a wedding once, and the woman next to me just kept talking about Monty eating grapes. He'd eaten grapes on Gardener's World. And her and her friends had to keep rewinding it and replaying this grape eating scene in the greenhouse. And she said it was one of the sexiest things she'd ever seen in her life.
Well, I think we better find that.
It was quite a few years ago. But that's when I realised. That's when I realised what some people what some people think of Mr. Don.
No, I've been in at shows and interviewing him, and there have been an awful lot of people standing very, very closely and hanging on every word. So yes, Monty is,
which I don't think he enjoys.
I don't think he enjoys it at all. I think he thinks it's quite sort of intrusive and quite horrible.
Yeah.
But he is undoubtedly, yes, he's a sexy kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his star sign is, but I'm sure we could find out.
Yeah.
And how that one works. So who else is there? I think it's difficult to sort of put a name and put a place. Do you think that, I tell you who was quite a sexy guy is that guy who was... Oh gosh, now I've forgotten what his name is.
Are we just talking generally sexy people though? It's got nothing to do with gardening.
No, the thing here, Gardner, big cheese Gardner, 18th century, Joseph Banks.
Ah, okay.
Joseph Banks.
Yeah.
He travelled a long way, and he's a lot of shenanigans going on South Sea Islands with the crew of his ship, and all that kind of stuff was going on. So there was quite a lot of that happening, and that was all about botanical collections and all of this. Do you know, I think we're edging ourselves into quite dangerous territory here. And I think maybe what we should do is you're a sailor. You just
I'm not a sailor.
Lee-ho, and we'd sail out of this one again, and we go in a slightly different direction.
I never met... You remember Kim Wilde used to... We're the kids in America. Whoa! We're the kids in America.
Yes,
whoa!
Yes.
Why did she sing that? Because she's English. I never quite understood that. But she moved into the gardening world.
She had a garden at Chelsea at one point.
She had a garden at Chelsea. She used to present a gardening program that I did the year after she was presenting it, which was a shame. And so I never actually got to meet her. And then I had to do a makeover for Comic Relief, and she was meant to be involved in it with me. And I thought, I'm going to meet Kim Wilde. I'm going to meet... We're the kids in a... Whoa! Whoa. And I'm going to meet Kim Wilde and everything. And then she had to go off to somewhere to do an 80s revival tour with Spandau Ballet and Aha.
And the reason for that is because it pays a lot more than gardening.
Well, no, this was a Comic Relief gig. It wasn't paid whatsoever.
Oh,
so I was up there for 3 days, digging some community garden in Liverpool. The draw for me was Kim Wilde, and I've got to admit it's because she was quite sexy,
and she was one of the kids in
she
America.
Is quite sexy.
Whoa. And all of that. Okay, so what about the most obvious manifestation of sex in gardening, to a certain extent, apart from all the botanical stuff and all the plants and all that, is World Naked Gardening Day. Have you heard about World Naked Gardening Day?
Yes, I quit on my social media. I can't swipe fast enough. Does that sound wrong? But I can't. That sounds all wrong. But I think you know what I mean. I don't want to see a hairy ass landscaper with a watering can covering his vitals.
There's a whole calendar of it.
Oh, I know, but I don't want. Yeah, and I'm sorry. This is probably raising very important money for charity, is it?
It is for.
Now look at me. I've done it
Perennial.
Again. Yeah. Oh well, they're a fantastic charity.
Which
Perennial.
is a really good. And they have a naked calendar. Do you know my problem with their naked?
It's
calendar?
not very sexy. I don't find it very sexy, that calendar.
That's not my problem.
What's
my main problem is the fact that they have never, ever asked me to be in it.
Well, they will now.
Never once.
You
No,
be on-
I said it. I said it.
Which month would you be, James? You definitely want to be a summer month. You
I
don't
think I want to be a summer month.
you don't want to be there in January with your kit off.
I don't want to be a shriveled January. I think I would obviously have to be my birthday month, which is July. So I would be July. But it tends to be lots of different people in different scenarios. And I did a sort of fundraising thing for them last year, and I complained and I said, never have I been asked to be in this calendar, and even now, still, I have not been asked.
Well, that's shocking. I'm really quite shocked by that.
I think I am. That said, I'm not going to accept.
You want to just be asked?
I just want to be asked. I just want people to think, hey, James, he's not over the hill yet. Let's ask him to do this.
He'd look good with his kit off.
Yeah. With a watering can held in the right, or a wheelbarrow held in the right position.
Because Cleve did it once, did he?
Cleve did it, I think, possibly we may have persuaded him to do it.
He did it in his. He was very well edited, I've got to say.
Yeah.
We saw his buttocks.
We did, and it was in his greenhouse. In his greenhouse, and he looked magnificent.
He did.
Occasionally, I show it to elderly ladies at lectures.
Can I ask you? Is the naked gardening day, is that mainly hairy asked landscapers, or is there a lot of women gardeners involved?
Anybody can be involved.
Anyone can be involved. Okay,
anybody can be involved, and I think that I'm not absolutely sure what the purpose of it is.
Well, it's raising money and awareness.
No, but that's on
for gardeners who don't wear any clothes.
Well, exactly. I interviewed the naked. You remember the naked gardeners?
Oh, I remember the naked gardener because Gardeners World did a whole video, and Alan Titchmarsh was doing, and they turned up. And do you remember Len? Do you remember
Yes,
Len?
I remember Len.
Len, who was a researcher, a fantastic guy. And he turned up, and literally they had no kit on at all. There was a husband and wife, and they spent a fortune on their garden, didn't they? They'd made a lot of money. Yeah. They were planting thousands and thousands of bulbs, and they turned up. They had no clothes on whatsoever. So obviously this couldn't appear on Garden as well with them no clothes on. So Len said, "I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to go and put something on because we've got nowhere to hang the microphone pack." So he went. He said he came back wearing this thong that was so tight you could tell his religion. So they filmed him in this thong, but they kept getting leaves and shrubs and plants in the way of all the bits and stuff. I mean, literally the bits. And but it was quite an incredible garden, and there was a lot of sexy sculpture in there, right?
I wrote an article about it. It was in Malmesbury, I think.
Malmesbury, that's right.
But the other people who did that was, do you remember that there was an episode of Gardener's Question Time from a nudist camp?
I vaguely do.
And I think
Swithenbank.
And Bob Flowerdew.
And Roy Lancaster?
Possibly Roy.
I don't want to see...
Matt Biggs, maybe. And they were photographed...
I think it was before Matt Biggs' time.
They were photographed... I remember seeing the picture of it with shrubs placed in the correct positions. But yes, they did an episode of that. So that's...
And that actually hit mainstream media. I mean, it was a clever marketing... That's what it's about, right?
And it's on the radio, which is fine, which means that you're safe from actually seeing anybody moving around your television screen with no clothes on.
Yeah, but we're now confusing nudity with sexy. Because they're not necessarily the same thing.
No, I would concur with that. It's just an extra bit about the idea of so what I think we've established.
Okay. So no, we've got to go back to the premise here. Does gardening make you? Does this podcast make you a sexy gardener? What is a sexy gardener? When you garden, do you feel sexy when you're gardening? I mean, I'll be honest with you.
To be perfectly honest, no.
No. I don't go swan around my garden going, I feel really sexy in my garden today.
I'm too sexy for my wheelbarrow, too sexy for my shovel, too sexy for my secateurs.
Yeah.
All of this, it doesn't happen. So I think that if we go back to the original question, to sum up for Barbara from Vancouver Island, who's asked this question, we basically think that this gardening podcast will make you sexier because it will make you better informed and more and feel relaxed and light. Do you think that's fair enough?
Well, you said we, so I guess I have to go along with it. Okay, I'm with you, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're on that one.
Yeah, it will make you sexier.
Yes.
It will make you a sexier gardener, this podcast. It will.
It will absolutely. It will be no. There is no argument about that.
And we're not worried about the trades description.
No.
We're not worried about them turning up and
No.
knocking on the door and shutting us down.
No, we're confident.
We're confident we've got a case
We're confident
here.
that the trade descriptions people really don't give a damn. But I tell you what the other thing, the interesting thing is because Barbara has basically come up with a question that's kept us amused for the last 20 minutes or so. I think that means that she qualifies for a golden gnome.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah. So there is a golden. If you're watching this on YouTube, here is the golden gnome sitting there looking delightful. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll notice that just behind Joe, we've had a small accident with Jekyll, who fell off something and has broken his foot off.
But has been very beautifully put back together again with some tape.
With some tape. So they are there and doing their thing, and they will be back whole and happy by the time we have another episode. So in the meantime, we're going to go and do some questions. Did you do the first question last time, or did I do the first question?
I always do the first question, but you can do it first time.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take the top card off this stack.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
go
read
on, you
this.
sexy gardener, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Go on, make it a sexy one.
Okay. Rachel comes from Kent. No accents involved.
No
accents
accents
involved. This. I was introduced to your podcast after hearing you both at the very entertaining Horatio's Garden Panel event.
Excellent.
When you are designing a garden, how do you know if the space needs straight lines, curves, or a mix of both? Is it dependent on designer style, or is there a science to how shapes make a space feel? Ooh. Okay, first of all, we better just explain to those people who don't know what Horatio's is, what Horatio's is. Do you want to do a quick sum up?
RHS Gardening is a fabulous charity that builds gardens for spinal units throughout the UK, of which there are 11. And they're amazing gardens for patients to get outdoors from the sterile environment of a hospital and have consultations out there. They often have a garden room, they have greenhouses, so there is gardening going on. They're not necessarily therapeutic spaces in that way. And they're where patients will spend a lot of time in a hospital with a spinal injury, so they'll meet their friends and families in a natural environment surrounded by plants and butterflies and bees and birds, and they're incredibly important spaces.
Yeah, exactly. And you've designed the garden at Stoke Mandeville.
Yes.
And I've done the one in Scotland at the Queen Elizabeth II Hospital in Glasgow.
Yeah, and they also put they put a head gardener in and a team of volunteers. They're very well maintained. They're very special places.
It's fantastic. And we may even do an entire podcast about it at some point, which I think will be quite fun. So the question that we're getting down to the meat of Rachel's question. Mm-hmm. When you are designing a garden, how do you know if the space needs straight lines, curves, or a mix of both?
Well, it's not that I don't think. My Horatio's garden is very curvy as a space, and my own garden at home is a mixture, actually, of straight lines and curves, depending on the axis, and it's very hard to say. I'm using curves when I'm linking to the view beyond, which is hills and it's got natural curving lines in it. So I'm trying to connect with that. And I think if I put too many straight lines in, it would be jarring. It's relating it back to the house, the architecture of the house. And sometimes you want a more flowing, sinuous design. And sometimes I play around with straight lines and curves. And I think what might work the best. And they both have different effects on the garden, really. They're both very different effects.
I think that as a general rule, I think we can only really do a general rule at this point, is that closer to the house, you can get away with more straight lines. The further you get away, the curves fit in better.
Yeah.
If you put straight lines at the bottom of your garden, it's not going to work quite as well as they would do closer to the house.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, I think that's
we're answering a very straight question in a very straight way, but actually, it's quite an interest. It's not just why are my tomatoes dead?
No, it's not. It's a clever question. It has, and she's a supporter of Horatio, so that's brilliant.
Exactly.
So it is really dependent on designer style, but not just designer style. It's which every single garden design depends on where it is. It's on the sense of place, isn't it? So it's the style, the designer style, but also the sense of where the garden is. Is it in a city? Is it in a town? Is it in a countryside? Is it big? Is it small? All of these things.
Yes.
So there's no special rule. But at the same time, I think that's a nice question. I like that. I like the fact that she's a supporter of Horatio's, and I think she gets a gnome.
She certainly gets a gnome.
Okay,
and she got away without any piss taking at all.
That's
well done, which is quite a thing.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't it from us?
Let's not let that happen too often.
Yeah. Duncan doesn't say where he is, so we could pretend he's from anywhere in the world.
Okay, where would you like him to come from?
Well, I do know an Australian Duncan, but I think we've got to give the Australians a bit of a rest.
I think they need a bit of a rest.
They need a bit of a rest for a bit. And he's not from Wales, because I can't do a Welsh accent whatsoever. So let's just say that Duncan is Duncan. I've become obsessed with cuttings using plastic cups, coir, and zip bags. Why does some... Duncan...
Is this a dull question?
I'm gonna say Duncan's from East London, right?
Okay.
All right, this is Duncan. I become obsessed with cuttings using plastic cups, coir, and zip bags. Why does some rot in growing medium but not in water? People say oxygen levels, but is that true? I'm only doing that, Duncan, because we don't do this. No, we do not do this. And also, to be honest, we can't do that one. It's a bit too complicated.
We've got no idea what that's all about. So Duncan, yes, that I'm afraid it's not for us. That question is not for us.
No.
I'm not sure.
Do you think he's a Millwall fan? I think he's probably in Millwall.
Do you think that he's Duncan as in Dunkin' Donuts? And also, do you think that when the Dunkin' Donuts was invented by somebody called Duncan?
I hadn't thought of it before, I've got to say, but now you mention it, but yeah, probably most
Dunkin'
definitely.
Donuts. Duncan, I'm sorry, I'd really love to give you a gnome, but that's not a good enough question.
No, I'm sorry, no gnomes there.
It's tough.
But send us another one. Have another go.
We're moving on.
He says patronisingly.
We're moving on.
Have another go, Dunks.
Give it another shot. I'm very sorry if you don't come from East London. I apologise, Duncan.
No.
I mean, it's
we don't know where you're from. We like it when people tell us where they're from.
We do quite like to
especially
know that.
because then we know we're global.
Yeah, no, we like global.
Yeah,
and we're global here. Sharon in British Columbia,
excellent.
BC. So we're back in Canada again.
Is that what BC stands for? Back in Canada.
First of all, this is a follow-on to a question we had before. When is a Texan armadillo question more interesting than a Canadian black bear question? Oh my gosh, she's sending us a question again through already. That you remember the Texan armadillos?
Yeah, the armadillos were ruining her lawn or something.
So we had this thing. It was about, I don't know how many weeks ago, but you can go back and listen to the entire back catalogue on Spotify or on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, it'll be there. And there was a question about somebody who had a problem with armadillos.
Oh yeah.
They come from Texas, and Sharon has obviously sent a question in, and we didn't answer it.
Oh,
it's not our fault. It's Louis' fault. This is entirely Louis' fault. He didn't give us this question.
Yeah, Louis.
So her question is: I'm emailing from Souk, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm wondering if black bears who tromp through the garden and leave deposits should be considered pests or encouraged as beneficial wildlife. So she's miffed that we answered the armadillo question and didn't answer her black bear. So we apologise, Sharon. Okay. And we shall make sure that Louis is firmly punished for not bringing us to... So okay.
Well, I'm surprised that we didn't get asked that, because black bears is one of our speciality subjects, as well as armadillos as well.
And moral turpitude or something we had as our specialist subject last week.
Yeah. Well, we can change our specialist subject. But black bears... I know a lot about black bears.
Okay, well, her problem is...
What's the problem again?
The problem is I think that basically... You know what bears do in the woods?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what they've been doing in her garden, basically. Okay. Is they've been leaving deposits in her garden, and should they be considered pests or encouraged as beneficial wildlife?
Well, the thing is, when a bear craps in my garden, I love it, because I use that bear poo and I mulch around my roses with that, and I've never had better flowering roses. Because we got a lot of black bears.
There's a lot of bears in Dorset.
No, because that stuff is like gold dust as well.
No, it's not. It's
No. Bear poo is the best.
It's carnivorous. It's lots of fish.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. What do you mean? So it's full of fish.
Yeah.
Well, that's fish, blood, and bone. That's what it's.
Okay. I think that basically you're saying it's encouraged as beneficial wildlife because it's providing compost.
Most poo is quite good for the garden. Okay.
I wouldn't put bear poo directly on my roses. I think it would be too strong. I think it needs to go through a composting procedure.
I would maybe. I was just about to get to that. I would probably compost it, or I'd put it aside for a year and just let it, just mulch down a little bit,
down.
and then apply it later.
But
I'd be more concerned about the bear attacking me.
Well, exactly.
That's what I would worry about.
I don't think you need a black bear. I think that a bear, I'm afraid, is a pest on a number of different things. I think a bear probably would make a bit awful mess of a vegetable garden or anything like that, let alone a stray toddler. It would be not a good thing to have in your garden. We don't have bears, Sharon, basically. We don't have bears in Britain, so we don't have a lot of experience of bears, even though Joseph is pretending that he is a bear expert. I'm afraid that we have to see through him and realize that he's not a bear expert. Are you, Joe?
I'm not really. If the truth be told, I was.
So I think if we had bears in our gardens, I think I would be.
But what can you do? What can you do? Okay, you try and give some practical advice then, James, for once. Go on then. How do you get rid of a bear then? You can't. How do you get rid of a bear? Say, but a bear, please go away. Please leave my garden. No, you can't.
I don't think you
because
do.
they can climb as well, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just put a fence up because bears can climb up and over and then crap in your garden and then leg it. And also they're scary things. They're not like deer or armadillos.
No.
They're not going to look at you and go and then run away because you look a bit scarier than they do. They'll stand there and stare you out and crap all over your garden. Deal with that, Jimmy. Deal with that. Go on.
In the defence of the black bear.
No, come on. Practical advice. That's what we want.
Okay, practical advice. Black bears.
Shoot it? I think that you're probably not allowed to shoot a bear.
I think I don't know whether you're allowed to shoot a bear except unless it's actually eating you at
And
the
would
time.
you want to shoot a bear if you could?
No, I wouldn't actually. I don't like the idea of a bear frolicking.
What's this name? This lady.
Sharon.
Sharon, you just got to deal with it. You've got to just put up with the bear. You've got to live with animals in your garden. A bit of bear poop.
Therefore, Joseph, who's gone off on a bit of a rant there, Joseph's point is that it should be encouraged as beneficial wildlife, and I think he's right. I think it's.
Oh, you've changed your tune. A minute ago, you were saying it'd be a nightmare to have a bear in your garden.
Well, it would be a nightmare, but they are better. You can't do anything about them because we don't want to shoot them.
You can't do anything about them.
So you just have to stay inside when the bear is in your garden and realize that it's not this. I also, though, however,
make a video and put it on YouTube. Loads of people watch bears on YouTube.
Yeah, no, we'd love to watch bears. We'd love to watch. Send us a film. Send us a picture of your bears. I think, and I may be wrong here, that a black bear is not as dangerous as a grizzly bear.
No, grizzly bears are
grizzly
massive,
bears are a
aren't they?
great big thing. I think a black bear, maybe a black bear is quite small and quite cute. But
like Paddington.
No, Paddington's. What sort of bear is Paddington?
It's not a real bear, James. It's an imaginary bear.
He comes from Peru, from darkest Peru.
He doesn't really.
A Peruvian bear. It's based on a. I tell you what, there is a bear in Peru that is called the Peruvian spectacled bear. And so called because it has sort of spectacles.
You said that with such... I believe every word now. Okay, the big question is, does she get a no?
Yes, of course she does. Because apart from anything else, Louis offended her massively by not giving her her putting this question in front of us earlier.
Good point.
Right? So she gets a gnome for that. She doesn't get a golden gnome. We're not going to push it that far. And it's a good question. It's one that we've singularly failed to answer, but hopefully we've done it in quite a long-winded way.
I think maybe we should do a book like Joe and James's Practical Guide to Pest Control, to global pest control. You name a country, you name an animal, we'll tell you how to deal with it.
We've got, I mean, at least she's not like the person from Texas who was basically chasing after her armadillos with a gun.
That's what she was doing. You just wanted to do your accent, and you don't want to do a Canadian accent.
No, I don't.
Go on, have a go.
No, I'm not even going to think about it.
Okay, it's my question time.
Well, okay.
Juliet. I was going to go into my Mark Knopfler then. You know,
oh, yes,
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Juliet.
Can you play it?
I'll play the bass line. It's really simple. If your plants gossip when you're gone. Well, Juliet doesn't say where she's from, so I'm not going to do an accent. I'm just going to do a sexy accent. Is that okay? Because it's a sexy podcast, right?
Okay.
If your plants gossip when you're gone, which one is the ringleader?
Okay. So
That's a
this
bit
is-
paranoid, isn't it?
This is
That's like thinking when you're out the house, all your plants are slagging you off and gossiping about you being like, oh yeah, they're not a sexy gardener. Oh no, they're a rubbish gardener. They pruned me at the wrong time and they're not feeding me enough and they put me in the wrong place and I look terrible next to this Hemerocallis.
Do you think it's like in Bill and Ben? Bill and Ben was a children's program in the 1960s or something, and they had a
Little weed.
Yeah. Little weed. I think that's what they think. What do you think plants' voices sound like?
Oh, no. Let's answer this question before.
I'm getting to that question. So then we can set up a scenario. Okay. So you're going to be a rose. How does a rose? See if you can think yourself into the voice of a rose, right? And I'm going to be.
I don't want to be a rose.
A lavender. I'm going to be a lavender. Okay. And what's happened is that Juliet has gone off to Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And she shut the
other
garden
supermarkets
gate.
are available.
Other supermarkets may be available. She's gone off to Sainsbury's, and we've been left alone in the garden.
Yeah.
And we're going to have this conversation.
I've decided I'm not a rose, though.
What are you then?
I'm an oak tree.
You're an oak tree.
Yes.
Okay, so you're an oak tree.
Right.
And this is good, actually. This is it. Now, this makes sense. You're an oak tree. You're
I
there.
am.
And so what are you doing? You're sitting there casting shade. And what's
You can tell he's been to Amateur Jurassic Society, can't you now?
No, but what's happened is that me, I'm the lavender.
Yes.
And I've been planted under the oak tree.
What are you doing down there, James?
I don't know. I've been planted here. I think I'm a bit of Mediterranean.
Well, yeah, okay, right. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, nice.
Juliet, she come over. She come back from the garden center. She buy me. She mean lavender. I like hot sun. I Italian, okay? And she planted me just underneath you. You smelly old English oak. I don't want to be there. What does she think she's doing? She rubbish gardener.
Juliet is trying her best. The problem with Juliet is she's getting her advice, her gardening, horticultural advice from the wrong sources. That's her problem. She's been watching too much television and not listening to Joe and James's podcast. I don't think so. I think it's a little paranoid. I like the idea that plants are sort of talking amongst themselves, maybe.
Yeah.
But basically, okay. So who's the ringleader out of all the plants in any garden? Who would be the ringleader? It's got to be. I mean, what weeds? Maybe a bindweed or something that's a little bit wants to take over, a little bit devious. And sort of cooks stuff up between everything else.
I think it wouldn't be a weed because a weed is living a tenuous existence at all times. And that if Juliet sees the bindweed, she's going to pull it out next time.
Point.
So it needs to be something that's been planted there and is established. I mean, I think that the oak tree is going to be quite powerful.
Powerful, but not a ring. I think a ringleader is the wrong term.
Do you think it's
I think it needs to be more scheming. No, not thick. No.
Do you think it's something like, how about a viburnum tinus?
Oh, I'm not has anybody got those anymore?
No, they haven't. But it would. I would say that it was quite scheming and quite devious. That's how it managed to get itself into so many gardens where it shouldn't be.
Fatinia Red Robin.
Oh,
Fatinia
Red Robin is just evil.
But it's evil and scheming, it's a ringleader. It's a ringleader because it's getting everyone to plant it in everybody's gardens to take over, and they're talking to each other over the garden fence. They're not just slagging Juliet off; they're slagging everybody. In fact, they're the ones, and we've got to take them out before they take us out, James. I'm the paranoid one now.
Okay, so it's all the fault of the Fatinia, is what we say.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there you go, Juliet, and just be careful of your lavenders and your oak trees as well.
And remember, all your lavenders speak with a dodgy Italian accent.
Last question. I've got Maureen in New Zealand. We've done New Zealand because we're giving them a rest as well, aren't we?
What, the accent?
Yes. Maureen, New Zealand. Is it? No, I'm not going to do it. Is it okay?
Fish and chops. Fish and chops.
Is it okay while out walking to lean slightly over the fence or in a public garden to forage seeds or pinch off a wee cutting? Or is that bad gardener's etiquette? it is bad gardener's etiquette to take cuttings or seeds without permission.
Yes. Well, that's the official line.
That's the official
yes,
line.
very good, Vice-President of the RHS, James. Yes. And what is it? Lean over into, was it public spaces?
So basically, you're walking along the street.
Yeah.
Diddly-dum. And you're passing somebody's front garden.
No, but it wasn't just somebody's front garden.
Yeah, to lean slightly over the fence or in a public garden. So it's
in a public
number
garden.
one.
Yeah, okay. And scenario number one is someone's private garden.
It's someone's private garden.
Yeah.
And okay, if there's something sticking through the fence and it's hanging over the pavement and it's
just a
someone's
seed,
come prune
it's just
it
a
off,
seed pod, and it needs
then
to.
I think it's probably okay.
I think seeds are slightly different to taking a cutting from a plant, because a seed, in any way, you're propagating, you're helping this plant. You're only doing it for a good cause, which is reproduction, which is what this podcast is all about. I know it's not. It's about sex or something. So I think that's okay. But I think, is it okay? You're looking at me as if it's not okay.
I think it's
It
fine.
is a dilemma.
In that, it's a tricky one.
I think ring on the doorbell. Say, have you got? I love your whatever it is. I'd like to take some seed from that or cutting from that. In a communal space, there might not be a park keeper or anybody to ask.
Yeah.
But you are basically damaging that. I hate it. I really hate this when Regent's Park, I was there a few years ago, and all the narcissi were in full flower, and this guy cut 25 of them and had them in this bunch and he's walking along with his girlfriend, and they were at their peak, their prime, in full flower. Yeah. Okay, he'd left all the foliage. They'll probably flower again the next year. But that was so wrong. I can't remember if I said something or Kathy said. I think Kathy got really angry as well on my behalf.
Yeah, no.
And he had this huge bunch of flowers that he'd just taken from the park and was going to take home so no one else could enjoy it. That was wrong.
That was no. I would agree that is possibly a hanging offence, actually.
Yeah.
I think probably when we're in charge of the world, when we are the presidents,
yeah,
then I think that's some sort of public humiliation, if not death, for doing that sort of thing, because that's definitely taking the pleasure away from somebody else. And also, I'm not convinced that it's morally acceptable to go into a botanic garden or something like that and to be able to, and to take a cutting or to take a seed head from a plant there. The grey area,
unless it's a viburnum tenus or a Virginia red robin, you could take a really hard cutting, take it right down to the ground.
You can take that one wherever you want to go. But the grey area is in like a sort of public park, in a small park, and you see a plant, you think, okay, I mean, it's not really part of a botanic display, but it's just there as, park background. But may well be where you find a viburnum tinus or something, and you think, I could just take a cutting off that. And I think that would be...
I'm not sure about cutting. No, I think seeds okay. I think cuttings are not okay. Because cutting's intervention. Seeds, you're maybe just taking one or two off with your hands. A cutting is intervention with a pair of secateurs. I think that is the line.
Okay, I think I'm happy to leave it at that line. Seed is reasonably okay, but the best thing to do is to ask whoever owns that plant before you do it. And then a whole new friendship may arrive. There may be a new romance. Going back to the sexy gardener thing where we started, this could be the beginning of something amazing. Just go and ask first. Okay, that's it. Maureen from New Zealand. We're sending in a gnome to New Zealand.
Yes.
Is what we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to ship it slow on a snail mail, so it might arrive after Christmas.
It'll get there eventually. So that's not a bad lot of... I mean, the only person who really didn't do well was old Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin'
Donuts. Sadly and unfortunately has been left out. But we would really encourage you, Duncan, to write back to us again, because we'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, I think that we're done for today. Our work here is done. We will move on. We'll be back here next Tuesday where we will answer more of your questions and we will talk about something. We don't know what it is yet, but all will become clear in time. Thank you very much to you for joining us. From me, James Alexander-Sinclair, and from...
me, Joe Swift. It's g'day.